What's up, people? Check a couple of things out real quick. See, how Facebook does. They notify late and whatnot. So I'm about to see if this is going through. Okay. Like that one is. Let me check something else here. Okay, hope y'all doing good today. We'll get started here in a moment. I just always have to check Facebook. Okay, because they always put my stuff in not public, so turn this off. Okay, hey, how y'all doing? Week for people that are here. Hopefully everybody's doing good, and hopefully everybody had a good week. Okay, you had a pretty good week. What's up, Paul? Courtney Vaden, Stephen Clark, how you doing? David, what's up, buddy? Crystal, hey, it's a great day to be in Virginia. Hey, thanks for that info, Crystal. I appreciate that. We're gonna do something very, very special with that information because that guy has a history. So we're gonna make him famous. So I appreciate the information. Hey, so welcome back to another weekly show of Jerome for America Ask the Candidate Town Hall. This is just what I do. You can come in, you can post your question, post your comments, and I'll answer them. Got some information today that is going to be very, very interesting how it turns out once we put the information out. I won't say that tonight, but come on in and ask anything you want. Okay, this is what we do. We do it for an hour. Some people do it for 30 minutes. I do it for an hour once everyone starts to come in because Facebook is still shadow banning me a lot, and so it doesn't put out notifications for quite some time. I just added some more light. So thank you to everyone that's here so far, and I believe it's going live on Facebook right now, and on both. So we're good. All right. So I hope you guys are sharing this out, and so other people can see it as well. So we're talking about a little bit of news today. Go to JeromeBellForCongress.com too if you want to volunteer for the campaign, or if you want to simply just donate to the campaign because the campaign will always need money. So, and if we don't have a lot of questions, then we might just end early and let you go about your day. But this is the opportunity for you to come in and ask questions. real questions and real answers. Not You're not going to get a consultant answer. You're going to get real answer from me in here. And while others they will give you their consultant answer, they will dance around questions. But at least for me, I'm going to be on one side of the aisle or another. And I challenge anyone that has anything to say in people's messages because I have a lot of supporters, more supporters than people know. And so if you want to challenge me on anything, please come here and do it. You don't have to do it in people's messenger or messages to ask questions about me because I'm here. I make myself available to you. So if you care to challenge me on anything that I've said, anything that I do, whether you agree with it or not, you can come here and we can put it out here right live and in color. Okay. And but so we are. No one has questions yet. Come on, I know someone has a question. It's what do you guys think about? Okay, we're talking about this. Some things I because YouTube has changed their policy, right? So it's some things that I'll say and they'll just totally take down the entire video. So and normally it's about the jab. If I say anything about the jab, YouTube will take it down and for and that's what they tell me. They gave me a strike for medical advice or something, saying I'm giving medical advice. But it's just funny that people like Bill Gates, get to do whatever he wants to do, and he's not a doctor, but he tell you to go and get the vaccine and load up on stuff, and we can't even discuss it as people. So hello, Shannon. Thank you for your question, Shannon. And where you are you in the district, Shannon? Where are you from? I like to know. I like to know where people are coming in from. So Shannon's question, if you're listening to it on the podcast, this will be live on the podcast. It will go up on the podcast as well. So I would like to know where you stand with potentially passing law holding parents responsible if their children access a firearm owned by the parents and commit shootings, as we have seen. Well, Shannon, to be honest, in my house, my guns are locked. Okay, I don't believe we can't be responsible for other people's crimes, even though they may be our children's crimes. Okay, um, that my I keep all my firearms locked up, and so when I used to have them, but unfortunately, all of my firearms were lost in a boating accident. But but I don't think parents can be held for crimes that their children commit because if you try to hold a parent accountable for a crime that their child committed, in this case, the shooting, then why not hold them accountable for every other crime? Like out in California, when Kamala Harris was the attorney general out there, she would lock up mothers because their children were skipping school, and that's not right. These mothers are out hard working. They don't know that their children are not in school. I mean, just like when you're at work or whatever, a lot of parents don't know what their children are doing. So I guess you can maybe go by case basis, but I don't think a person should be locked up for or held liable for anyone's crime at all. I don't think that's fair. So I hope that answered your question. When this forced vax is openly proved to be bogus, should forced vax folks be compensated for? Yeah. I do believe so, and I believe that anyone that was forced vaxxed and they have complications should be, and especially if because of a mandate passed down by Biden, then yes, they should be compensated for the rest of their lives by the federal government because it was a federal government that mandated it. If it was a private company, then that private company should also pay. Um, to those people for any complications. Yes, I do believe so. And I spoke with a gentleman about this very topic not too long ago, and that will be if one of my campaign goals to make sure that these people are compensated for the rest of their lives because of the mandates. Absolutely. All right, cool. Hey, well, good. You're in my district. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hope I have your support, by the way. Yeah, exactly, Rebecca. He could have used anything. It didn't have to be a gun. So, yeah, I mean, the situation is unfortunate, but here we go again too. It goes back to what I was saying about no gun zones. Schools are easy targets because they are a no gun zone, and if a security guard or a teacher or someone, maybe were afforded the chance to carry a concealed weapon, maybe that wouldn't happen. Maybe those children wouldn't have been dead, and maybe that shooting, he may not have brought a gun to school, knowing that there are people there that could shoot him back. You know what I mean? Schools are just easy targets, and I don't believe that schools should be no gun zones. I believe that they should not be easy targets. They should have security. They should have police, and maybe some teachers, ex-military, that are capable of carrying concealed weapons. So I would definitely be a supporter of that. Hey, Gina, how are you? Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate it. Arming staff worked in Israel. Oh, you did, Crystal? I appreciate it. So I mean, so yeah, so we have a couple of things that they're touchy subjects. People are emotional. People get attached emotionally to things that happen, and even though the high emotions are involved, we still have to understand what the law is. We still have to understand the Constitution. I wish our Congress and our legislators and legislators would um, legislate in more conjunction with the Constitution, and we may not have a lot of these problems. But we're going to fix that in 2022 with in the second district when I win in the second district. And so, next question: schools in Israel arm the staff that ended their school shooting program. Oh, absolutely, it did. Absolutely. It's one thing, a shooter. I'll tell you one thing about a shooter, and unless they're just out on a suicide mission, they don't want to get shot. They don't want to get shot. Okay. I think, you know, when there's a deterrent to crime, crime seems to reduce when there's a deterrent. So, I believe that um, there needs to be deterrence at schools, whether there is a major police presence at the schools constantly, or more security, or like you say, concealed weapon permit holders that are carrying guns. Because normally, when you are a concealed weapons permit holder, you are a law abiding citizen. And the chances that you're just going to go and randomly shoot somebody and commit a crime is probably zero. Okay. Because the fact of the matter is, criminals don't care. And if they're going to commit a crime, they're going to commit a crime. But they're going to commit crimes against soft targets always. Oh, absolutely, Paul. That's what we fight, man. Absolutely. I'm not sure what Vogue .fyi is, Karen. But hey, how are you? And you take care too, Paul, man. Hope everything going good with you, brother. And it look like we're winning the fight on these vaccine mandates with the courts. Okay, the Fifth Circuit and the Sixth Circuit courts are actually doing their jobs, and people are getting relief. They're putting stays on these mandates, which is a great thing. Shannon, I completely agree with you on teachers and other staff being armed, but as long as we have the superintendent and liberal school board, that will never happen. Yeah, that's why we have to vote them out. That's why we have to vote them out. We've been at battle. I was, at the school board. I like to appear, virtually, because I'm not going to wear a mask and submit myself to that. But we have to vote out the school board. And that's one of the battles now with them that they want to come up with. About making every area that they control or whatever a no gun zone or free gun zone. And the problem is the children, that buy into this and the adults that buy into this, and they honestly don't understand that they're really making themselves less safe and unsafe by making themselves a easier target. So, hopefully we'll get by that. And yeah, so hopefully we'll get by that and we'll be, and safer because I don't want kids to have a false sense of security. And that's the thing, they have a false sense of security. And yeah, my son went to Salem High School actually, Shannon. And I believe you may know if you live in the Salem area, Salem High School area, the kid that actually killed himself in the boys' bathroom. You know, luckily he didn't kill anyone else, but he killed himself in the boys' bathroom, and that easily could have been a major school shooting. And my son was in the school at that time. That could have been a major school shooting as well, because I mean you can't keep if a kid want to bring guns on campus, and unless you have metal detectors and all this stuff, there's no way you can stop it. You have backpacks that aren't see through. So and I believe more guns are brought on campus than people really know. So firearm safety classes in schools. And that would be great. I think back in the day they used to have those, right? Down in the country, growing up, I remember seeing, these kids used to have their shotguns in their window and go to school. You had no people breaking in, stealing your guns. They would drive up, and go to school and stuff. So you didn't have any of this stuff. And also you didn't have a lot of kids on these psychotropic drugs too. And I think they have a lot of um a lot of reasons to why these kids are committing these crimes, because their head are messed up. They're on these psychotropic drugs that they been given by their parents ever since they were little to calm them down or whatever the case is. So, yep. So firearm safety classes would be great in schools. That's a great idea. Maybe we'll push for that, Krista, once we remove the school board Nazis that we have on the school board right now. 9 guns found at Salem High School football game does not show safety in our schools. Absolutely. Absolutely. My son was in, oh my gosh. Wow, Shannon. So yeah, definitely. So how close that could have been. So, but yeah, there's really no safety in the schools except to have guns. Guns with law abiding citizens deter criminals with guns. Trust me. Okay. Next. Anybody else? Questions? We'll talk about Joe Biden um and things like that. If you guys want to talk about Joe Biden and what we're doing, what Congress is doing right now, what the Senate is doing, if you haven't heard, is Mitch McConnell is trying to pass a one-time resolution or one-time benefit, basically, is what I'm going to call it, to the Democrats, to where they can pass the debt bill to $2.1 trillion, I think, to raise the debt ceiling by themselves. So he's trying to limit the filibuster and pass a one-time rule in the Senate to where they only need 51 votes to pass a bill to pass this debt ceiling raising bill, and the Democrats can do it themselves. And the Senate, no Republican senators have to vote on it. And so I think they vote on that tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And that's just a cop out. That's a cop out by Mitch McConnell. And I know they're trying to separate the bills. They're trying to separate the debt ceiling bill from the NDAA and from the Medicare thing. That's coming up for vote. They're trying to separate those three bills, but bills should be separated anyway. Bills should not be incorporated in other bills. You shouldn't have debt ceiling. Matter of fact, we shouldn't even have a debt ceiling where we have to go past the debt ceiling anyway, because we're supposed to do a budget as per the Constitution. We're not supposed to spend money we don't have, and we're not supposed to raise our credit limit. We're $29 trillion in debt now. And so you would never have me voting for a debt ceiling raise. And so for any Republican that does that, or any Republican that cops out and allows the Democrat to do that, definitely don't need to be representing the people at all. when you move to impeach some people. You have to go a little more in depth. If you're talking about Biden, yes, I would move to impeach Biden. And the main reason that I would move to impeach Biden is not all of the debacles that he's done. The Afghanistan, that's worth impeachment. But you know what? He's not living up to his oath. Okay, his oath and his specifically the president has to defend the people of the United States against invasion, and that's not happening because we're being invaded on the southern border. He's allowing a major national security risk at our southern border. So I would impeach Biden for that. And then if you want to add all the other stuff on there, then we can add all the other stuff. But I would definitely impeach him for not honoring his oath to defend the people of the United States. We need to ditch Mitch. Yeah, Beijing Mitch need to go. Yeah, they're not only robbing our children, they're robbing us, our children, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren, our great great grandchildren, probably for the next 10 generations. Because $29 trillion in debt, and they keep raising it, and they only kick this can down the road by doing this continued resolution, and not doing a budget like they're supposed to do on an annual basis. So until they do that, we're going to get this. We'll probably have to um, probably just start over at some point, you know, at some point, because they say that we would default on our debts by next week or something, or whatever date it is, if we don't raise the debt ceiling. Well, we need to stop raising the debt ceiling. How many of you get to raise your limit on your credit card or keep going up past your credit card limit before they cut it off, or before you have to pay, or before you have to file bankrupt because you can't pay it? You know, so this is the same thing, and they keep going past the limit of our credit card, and they keep raising the limit, but they keep going past the limit. And we have to stop doing that as Congress people. We really have to stop that. So definitely line item veto, but we shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to do a line item veto, because we should have one bill at one time and pass a bill. That's how it was structured. Not to have all of these bills into a 2,700-page document to where nobody can read all of it. You got all the legalese in it, so you got all these pet projects intertwined in it. It's ridiculous. So we just have to aim to do better in Congress. Jerome, I heard Jennifer King has voted with the Democrats nearly 20%. Can you respond to that, please? Well, yeah, that is an absolute fact. If you just go to you can go to how my candidate voted. You can go to VPAP. You can go to Vote Smart, and you can actually just look and see the votes, and you can see, yeah, it's like 18%. Because I don't nearly 20% is correct, and it may be more than that, but right now it's like 18%. So I don't want to be inaccurate, because I already have her staff people that's working on her campaign telling people that I'm lying on Jane Kiggins when I say that she voted to put boys and girls bathrooms, because a vote for Senate Bill 868 does just that. So it's not a lie. You can go look at it, and it made transgenders a protected class in Virginia. It's called the Values Act. Go look it up. The Virginia's Values Act. You go look it up yourself. I don't, don't take my word for it. I'm just putting the information out there, and that information is dangerous. It made little girls in Loudoun County found out. Unfortunately, we made little girls and women less safe. It made them a protected status to where they can file discrimination lawsuits if a woman tells a man that he cannot come in the bathroom. It's discrimination. It's in that bill. A lot of people don't understand the ramifications that bill is going to have with it, and Jen Kiggins is going to have to live with that. And I make sure, and it's more than just SB 868. So it's more than just the Virginia Values Act with her voting record that she's going to have to face, because I'm going to continue to bring it out. But you can go look for yourself. Don't take my word for it. But yes, to answer your question, Henry Ayers, yes, that is a definite fact. Thank you for that question. No, that kid's not competent, I don't believe. The whole administration needs to go. Yeah, one last thing. What is going it to take to get term limits? Well, I signed a term limits agreement last year when I ran, and I'm going to sign it again. I think Senator Ted Cruz had put up a bill for term limits. I am going to sponsor a bill for term limits when I get elected. because we do need term limits. Term limits will, and, unfortunately for this nation it was built upon truth and morality. Okay, it was built for moral, God-fearing people, and right now we don't have moral, God-fearing people in Congress. Because if we did, we would not need term limits, because there wouldn't be so much corruption. But unfortunately, we have corrupt people in Congress that has sold us out to the Chinese and to these other foreign countries and entities that we have people in Congress. You look at Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Maxine Waters. You look at, and it's just not only Mitch McConnell. You look at a bunch of these people that's spent, and if you add Joe Biden, 40 to 50 years in Congress, and we still have the same problems. They've destroyed Congress. These people that have spent, you have to look at it, and people want to blame President Trump, who was only in office for 4 years, but want to blame everything on him before he even took office. But you have these people that have been in office for over 40 years, and we still have the same problem. And they've created the problem. The people that have been in office for the last 30 to 40 years are the ones that have created the problems that we have in our government and in this country. So definitely, man, we are definitely doing term limits. I'm definitely going to vote for term limits. That would be a yes. Thank you for that question, Henry. I appreciate it. Thanks for your support too. Next, Chris, the federal agencies are chock full of Democrats that do what they please. House cleaning. Well, yeah, 2022. And I'm gonna be honest, too, Crystal. It's not just Democrats. We have some rhinos that that's in our federal government. You have rhinos in our state government. That vote for against the people, that vote for these radical leftist agenda bills and items, and not just Democrats. Republicans that vote for SB 868, that's a radical leftist agenda. They're trying to pass the same bill. It's called the Fairness for All Act. Notice how they give it a nice little name, so people think, oh, that's such a good bill. We got the Virginia Values Act, and now in the federal government is trying to pass the Fairness for All Act, and it's the same bill. It's the same bill, and it's going to give protected status to people that are less than 1% of the population, and going to put them up there with the full backing of the law, same as sex, race, your ethnicity, if you're disabled, it's going to have the same status as that. And right now in Virginia, that's what we have, and it's a shame, to be honest. So, but as far as house cleaning, yeah, we need house cleaning of Democrats and we need house cleaning of rhinos. Okay, so it's not just the Democrats. So we need house cleaning of people that are not America first, period. We need people in Congress like myself that are America first and American people first, the American worker first, okay, the American college student first, the American veteran among before at the top of the list first. This administration, we treat illegals better than we treat our veterans, and no, that's not going to happen on my watch without a fight and without me making some noise about it. Veterans should be a protected class. If anything, if a transgender is a protected class, the veterans should be protected classes because they and we defended this country and supported this country and defended it from invasion, and those that remember our oath still to this day defend the Constitution of the United States. So veterans should be a protected class before a person that truly don't know who they are and have a mental illness. Term limits is a dream. Well, hey man, I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of candidates. Okay, there's a lot of candidates running in 2022 around the nation. I'm probably the only candidate. I don't know because I don't know what the other four candidates think about term limits. I haven't asked them, but but I can pretty much guarantee you, not all of them believe in term limits. Okay, but I do because I don't believe that this should be a career. These being in Congress and Senate was not meant when the founding fathers put this system together and put it together. It was not built and it was not made to spend a career there. It was made to come and serve your time and leave. Okay, or if you want to step up, you want to serve in House of Representatives for 3 years, which is a total of 6 years, which is my max. Then go to the Senate, for a total of 2 years, which is 12, and then then just go on and live your life and get out. But it was not made to be a career, made for you to receive a retirement like people that serve 20 years in the military. I mean, you have a better retirement than them. It wasn't meant for that, in my honest opinion. What's up, George? Oh man, can federal employees be required to take a lie detector test? Well, you know what? Federal employees, I had to take one. I think in different agencies, you do have to take a lie detector test. If you're talking about members of Congress and the Senate, I honestly think that every member of Congress and every member of the Senate and the president should have to take at least a drug test. To be honest, federal employees, I had to take a lie detector test when I worked for the FBI. So I believe some do, but I believe people that represent this country should have to. I wouldn't be worried about a lie detector test or a drug test, but I do believe at a minimum, every person in Congress and every person in Congress, meaning the House Representatives and the Senate, should have to submit to drug testing. I don't see why not. Can we make a law to prohibit? Well, you know what? To be honest, I thought our strategic reserves were our strategic reserves. I honestly didn't know that they could be sold to foreign adversaries. I don't believe that's ever happened before until Biden. I know we've used our strategic reserves here in America before, but this is the first time that I've heard that I've seen that, and I would have to go back and research it to be honest. But it just, upon my knowledge, is that this is the first time that our strategic reserves will be sent to China and India, sold to China and India. And for all of those that don't know that, that's real bad, because China is our adversary, but China also controls Joe Biden too. So we never know what we're going to get from that right now. But I would like to see a law. To answer your question, yeah, if there isn't a law, which obviously I would love to see a law that prohibits our strategic reserves from being sold to other countries and only for America use only. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Yes, Stephen, I have people in active duty that, man, if you knew how many people contacted me on a daily basis about the military having to get this vax, and to be honest, there's over 300 and from 350,000. I know they say there was like 250 or 240 or something, but I got direct information from active duty members. There's over 350,000 military members that have refused to take the vax. So no, I believe manning is an issue. Manning and readiness is one of the biggest issues. With our military, we have to always be ready. Mission capable, full mission capable, if anything. But and having military personnel mandatory having to take mandatory vax is a bad idea, especially a experimental vaccine, which has already been ruled that military people couldn't do because of the anthrax vax. It's the same type case. Okay, it's an experimental vaccine, and they claim that it's been approved. No, that's a lie. The vaccine that has been approved is the Comirnaty, which is not even being manufactured in the United States. It's not even available in the United States. So what they're still using is the emergency use authorization poison. And I know YouTube is going to take this video down because I went there, but facts are facts. So what they can't do is take down my podcast. So that'll be on my podcast. You'll be able to hear that. But yeah, the emergency use authorization um, medicine is mRNA that they are using is still not the approved drug. And I know they say it's the same formulation, but it's not. We are still in lawsuits with Facebook. Where that stands right now, from last week with my lawyer, Facebook is trying to get the venue changed because we filed in the state of Virginia, and they are trying to get it changed out to California. And so we sent in our response to their motion to get the lawsuit moved out to California, where they have more favorable judges to them. And so we're waiting to hear the order, hear back from the judge if they're going to grant the move out to California or not. So thanks for that question. But yeah, I'm still in a lawsuit with Facebook. Absolutely, Shannon, without a doubt. And people need to understand that if the candidate that you are liking, if they're not America first, you're voting for the wrong candidate. I'm telling you, they're going to sell you out, and you have to watch out for these fake America first um, ones now. But there's candidates now, but there's good ways to find out if they're truly America first. You just have to ask a couple of questions. But yeah, if you're not voting for an America first candidate, then you are not voting for America, and you're voting for it, and you're voting to lose. Because an America First candidate will not sell out America for any reason. And I know I'm the America First candidate in the second district without any doubt. When are these mandates going to finally be shut down permanently? That I don't know. It really it's up to the people too. I mean, there's strength in numbers. These companies. I mean, you saw it with Southwest Airlines. You saw it with American when these pilots and aircrew went on strike. They say, no, we're not coming to work. They lost billions. Southwest, I think, lost like 50 million or billion or something like that. I think it was 50 million in like one weekend because pilots, said they weren't flying. They called off. And they weren't taking the jab. And you see they back down. If people stood up to these companies and just here it is, the people could have stopped this a long time ago. Let me just be blunt about it. When I had my show on the Radical Republican show, I went and you can go back and listen to it. It's up on the podcast. When I said if you comply with mask mandates, it's going to go to vaccine mandates, and here we are. It's called complying. The people don't have to comply with the mandate because a mandate is not a law. And this is what's happening in the courts. Okay. The courts are ruling that mandates are not law because the president cannot issue a mandate and call it law because only laws go through Congress. Congress have to pass laws. And that's why all of these mandates are getting struck down because they are not law. And so that's the same thing. These people stood up and said, okay, we're not complying anymore. Okay, and we won't fly. Or you just going to have to kick all 130 of us off the airplane and your plane is going to sit here. The people just need to stop complying. This could have been over a long, long time ago. Okay. I mean, for something that is fear, for something that there was 99.97% survival rate for healthy people. Yeah, some people died. Some people got very, very sick from it. I have a loved one, they got very, very sick from someone that actually took the vax that shed it on them. And I have relatives that passed away, from it as well. But I mean, still facts are facts. Okay, still the numbers don't lie, and more people you see now around these other countries, more people that are going to the hospital and hospitalized and catching all the different variants are people, that have been vaccinated already. So, I just say, if you don't want to comply, don't comply. Okay. It just is what it is. So, we are free human beings. We don't live in the Soviet Union. Well, I'm sorry, Russia. It's not the Soviet Union anymore. Russia. We don't live in China. We don't live in a communist country. So, we are still free. We're not Australia. You see what's happening in Australia, and I'm going to tell you this, okay? If you think giving up your guns is a good choice, look at Australia. Look at Australia. Look at Germany. Look at what's about to happen to Austria in February. Okay, look what's happening to Germany, and what's one uh, common denominator of these countries? They gave up their guns. They don't have a way to protect themselves from the police. They don't have a way to protect themselves from the military. Okay. The founding fathers of this country, praise them, and I praise them every single night that they saw the foresight to put shall not be infringed on our Second Amendment right with us having the right to own guns. Because, people don't understand the legalese with using the word shall, should, must, and in may. Okay, those are strong words in the legal system, and shall not. Shall is one of the strongest. Must is the second strongest. Okay, so you have to understand legalese and law to understand what it means, and that's why these cases can never win, and we should and can never voluntarily give up our guns and give up our Second Amendment right, because we will end up just like Australia. Okay, because we have bad police. We have police that will do what they're told. We have some military members. They're purging the military of military members that are, well, they're trying and it's not working out so well, because of the course, but they're trying to discharge members of the military that won't be vaxxed because they care about their health first, and trying to purge the military of people that would just comply. Okay, so unfortunately, we're gonna have those people, but and that's only if we give up our guns. Okay, that's only if we give up our Second Amendment right. Please, please, please do not, never, you will never have to worry about me voting for any red flag law or even um, any law that's going to take away our rights to free ownership of our guns, no matter what gun it is you want, because it was intended, shall not be infringed. It's not the founding fathers' fault that technology brought us AR-15s and 9 millimeters and not muskets. Okay, but we should be well armed, just like the government, in my opinion, because it's for tyranny. It's not. It is to protect us from a tyrannical government. So let's not get that twisted. All right. So that's my 2A speech. I'm gonna go back a little bit. First, yeah, it's in my blood. I didn't serve this country for nearly 3 decades to just give it up to Marxists and communists just trying to take over our country. Okay, Rebecca says, I would like to know why they keep pushing these vaccines, and are they trying to see how far they can go? Absolutely. Well, they started with the masks. It started with the mask. Who's going to comply with covering their face because of a little fear? Who's going to do that? Let's see how many people actually do that. And they saw how many people actually did that, right? Do it for your neighbor, do it because it's the right thing. Because no, no. If my neighbor want to do it because they're scared, then cover their face. If my neighbor wants to get the vaccine because they're scared, get the vaccine if it works, right? But I think people are starting to see. I had a friend, he's like, why did I take this damn vaccine? Excuse my language. If I still have to wear the mask. Well, there you go. You know, there you go. So I think people can figure that out for themselves. They are trying to see how far they can go and who will comply. There it is. Bottom line. That's what governments do. Yeah, mandate is not law. Absolutely. A lot of businesses got scared. A lot of businesses got scared because these business owners didn't understand the law. The ones that fought and the ones that stayed open and the ones that weren't scared to go to battle with their states and and sue, those are the ones that lost their businesses, and you see even with Northam, you guys have to understand something about Ralph Northam's mandates, his orders, right? He gave exemptions in every order. He gave exemptions, and these businesses were supposed to comply with these exceptions, and he had exceptions for everything. That was to make sure he didn't get sued personally because he had, and if you read, he had should and he had may. There was very seldom. You go back and look at his orders. He didn't use the word shall a lot, except businesses shall comply with this order, right? Where those exemptions that was embedded, that was in those orders, is part of what they had to comply with. And then he put his brown shirts out, the Department of Health, which they had no authority, truthfully, to shut down businesses because those businesses that stayed open and complied with that and gave people exemptions under the orders of the governor was fine, and that's all they had to say. Hey, this person, it has this exemption, and if you notice in the exemptions, especially the medical exemption, they couldn't ask you what your medical issue was because that's against the law. They couldn't force you to produce information on your medical condition because that's against the law. And so he knew this. He understood it. And the businesses that made people leave and the businesses that put people out were actually subject to lawsuits. And they could have used the exemption clause in the governor's order to actually go to court and win. So there you go. Yeah, man, weak need. Yeah, to get weak need when it's time, brother. You know me. And that's why a lot of people. And if you notice, I don't use a screener. I don't use a screener for my questions. It's just me. I produce my own show. It's just me. Others use screeners because they don't want the tough questions. They won't ask the tough questions. They're gonna take the softball questions for their candidates. I guarantee. I dare. I dare any of my opponents that's running for the second district to do this. I dare you to come on, and matter of fact, I challenge you. I challenge you to come on your own live stream and take questions, and don't scream, just you, and don't screen the questions. Put them up here where people can see them, because everybody can see which questions are being asked, and everybody can see if I'm going past questions or not. I dare you, and I challenge each one of my opponents that's running for the second district to do that. Let's see which one will do it. That's a challenge. I just put out a challenge to the other four candidates that's running for the second district. So put it out there. Jerome Bell put a challenge out. When you stand for freedom, there will be sacrifice. When you stand together. Absolutely. Want to know how bad it can get? Look at Australia, Germany with. Hey, there you go, Jonathan. I was just talking about. Welcome, Jonathan. By the way, hey. Yeah, I was just talking about that, Jonathan. Yeah, if you want to know how bad it can get, look at Austria, Australia, Germany, and these other countries that can't defend themselves, man. I mean, there's people in Australia, they put out an SOS to the world. They want to help. The Aborigines, they come to take their land. It's a big land grab going on in Australia from the Aborigines. They're forcing them to take these vaccines. By the military and the police. So, whew, man, I don't want that to be here. Oh, okay. I see you, Jonathan. I beat you. Fauci admitted that those who get the breakthrough case are worse off. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if you just look at the studies coming out of Israel, just look at Israel is one of the most vaccinated countries in the world. I think they're like 98%, 99% vaccinated. And they're having the most hospitalizations. I mean, whether you want to call it breakthroughs or not, okay? They don't work. They're not working. The only thing works is your immune system to fight off. You get it, naturally. That's it. That's the best immunity. And Fauci's coming out. He's. You watch Fauci now. He's going to try to cover his ass. Okay, he's admitting it that it's worst case. Fauci's starting to come out, with some stuff. Got to listen to him very, very closely. But he's admitting some stuff. I mean, and Pfizer had to release their various data and the data from the vaccines, because it was a FOIA request that they tried to get blocked for 55 years. But go and look at the Pfizer report. They knew people were dying from these vaccines. And look at the numbers of people. They knew, and they know it. So, sorry, YouTube. I know you're going to block it or take it down, but anyway. Okay, what happens when these vaccines are not used anymore? Are they directly paid for by the government with people's money? Yeah, the vaccines have been purchased by the government. Absolutely. That's why the mandates. That's why the force to get everyone vaccinated, because they need to recoup the money, because the these companies, they already got their billions of dollars. Okay, they've already been paid, and can't recoup that money from them. So yeah. There was just a whole manufacture of shots. Here you go. Are police controlled by people like Austin and Millie? Some of them are. Yeah. I mean, you guys have to understand, we've been infiltrated for years. Okay. I mean, at the highest levels of our government down to the lowest levels of our local government. You can just look at our school board. In Virginia Beach. But we've been infiltrated by Marxists and by communists. Okay. By what they do, and you see them by the deeds that they do. So I'm sure that some of these police areas, some of these police in the cities, these are controlled by, probably some Marxists or communists. I mean, you can just probably look, if they're mandating that their officers get vaccinated, then they're probably a Marxist or a communist, because that's not what free people do. That's not what free America do. We don't mandate things on free people. You always have a choice. always have a choice in this country, right? Even if it's a bad choice, even if it's a bad choice, you could be against a bad choice, like, extermination of unborn babies to me is a bad choice. But right now, women still have that choice. Am I against that choice? Yeah, because I don't believe it's a choice. I believe it's life or death. But, it is what it is, right? But right now, you have that choice. So it's just insane. But getting the jab doesn't seem to be. What's the VOTFY? I'm not sure what all that is. Rose Jacobs. Northam is a yep. Maxine Waters called this. Who cares if it's legal? Just run up the flagpole. Absolutely, yeah, true. She did. Where would you go off if you needed medical attention? I mean, you still go to the hospital. If you, I mean, if medical attention, period. You got these urgent cares, you got other things, where you go to. You just have to be aware, of what's going on, when you go. And you can still decline medical attention. You can still do that. So, I mean, still go to the doctors. There's still very, very good doctors out there, very, very good nurses and, medical professionals. There's still some very good ones out there. I see you, Jonathan. They were saying that they have data that current vax works against Omicron. No way they have. Well, from the data that I've seen, as far as the people, and it's really amazing how the I call it the moronic, change it around, but it's really funny how the moronic spread so fastly, so fast, right, and vastly into these all these countries. It started in South Africa by one person, then all of a sudden, boom, right? All right, so but here's the deal: the only people that have caught moronic or that has the moronic variant are people that have been previously vaccinated. So I'm gonna say on that. Yep, yep, absolutely. My biochemist friends tells me that these are not vaccines, but definition, but injections. Right, they are injections by definition. You're right, John, and hello. Um, because vaccines are supposed to uh, give you immunity from a certain disease. That's the definition of a vaccine. Vaccines are to um, cause immunity. These, like you say, shots, they don't cause immunity, and so by definition, they're not a vaccine, and that's absolutely correct. Jen's a nurse. Okay. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, but I've heard her say that they see that she suggests. I think people get vaccinated. I think um, and whatnot. I would never suggest you get vaccinated unless you want to. I wouldn't suggest it. I would tell you that if you want to do it, you can do it. If that's what you want to do, would I suggest it for you to do? No, I won't. I won't even wear a mask. I don't even suggest that. But yeah, you're right. She is a nurse. Okay. Coming up, we got 8 minutes left. So I give people a long time to come on, and I wish that guy would come on that said that I was a liar. He told a friend, he told somebody that I was a liar. I would like for him to come on and ask his question. What am I lying about? Kiggins abstained on Chase's bill to block mandates. Is that a question or is that a comment? But I'll answer it. I'll think that it's a question. But yes, she did. I forget what the bill was, but yeah, Senator Amanda Chase sponsored a bill to protect employees from their employers that was mandating the vaccine, and that was to protect you. the employee from your employer that wanted you to get the jab. And yes, she abstained. She did not vote. She abstained from it. She abstained from a couple of votes. She wouldn't vote to censure or not censure Amanda Chase either. She got up and walked out of the room. So it seems, when it really comes down to some hard votes, she might not make them. But yeah, you're right. She abstained on Senator Chase's bill to block mandates to protect you, the employee, from your employer. Absolutely did. Next. All right. So we're down to 6 minutes. 6 minutes. So thank you to everybody that watched and came on. Thank you to those that will share this. Weekly ask the candidate. Come chat with the candidate for the second district. Again, I'm running for the second district of Virginia. I ran last year. People think that my took third place, but really it was a tie for second. Me and Ben Loyola had about the same percentage of votes, and we split votes. If I would have went head to head with Scott Taylor, I would have beat Scott Taylor, and we probably wouldn't be here today. Right now, we wouldn't be. But coming out first time running last year, had a team of three. My team of three, and then my soldiers that came on board with the campaign, and the people that voted for me ended up being 23% of the vote. So I believe that 23% of those voters are loyal voters. So I'm coming in this year, I would say, with 23%. I would hope to get 10% or more of Ben Loyola's voters, 10% of Scott Taylor's or more voters, to where I would feel like I'm coming in. I believe I told Tony McCreaney, I believe I'm at 35-40% of the vote right now, just coming to this race. And right now, just let you know, we're in fundraising mode. We're doing well in fundraising. Last year, we ended up raising, and it's out there, I think $260,000 in like 3 months because we got shut down by COVID. We're ahead of the pace now, but we always need more because my opponent is going to be sponsored, and I would say sponsored because they're going to give her money, of course, by PACs that only want women in Congress. I call that a very bigoted pact and a sexist pact that endorse her because they only want conservative women. But they know she's not truly conservative. They looked at her voting record. And if you go look at Elise Stefanik, if you go and look at her voting record and what she voted for, they're pretty much the same. So I can understand why they would want her in the group to vote the way they do. But she's going to be supported by PAC. So she's going to have a lot of money. It is what it is. She's going to, chances are she's going to out fundraise me, maybe. And so, I just need all the support that I can get from the grassroots. Okay. Miss Levita and Doughboy. Absolutely. You would have beat Taylor. You're going to beat Jen. Absolutely. Yeah. 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 18% of vote, with Democrats. That's hard. You can't shake that. And if you're going to look at it, it's radical stuff. You can't shake that. So, but thank you very much. I appreciate y'all for coming in, Miss Levita and Doughboy. Yeah, we have to do that. Big's funny, but like I said, thanks for coming on again. Hey, and you just get the raw meat, okay? When you come in, can't finish one term as senator and wants to go national. Well, that's because they need her to go and push the agenda. Okay, they know her agenda, and they need her to go national and help push the agenda from the second district. So we need to fight that. We need to make sure that there's no agenda pushing from the second district. We can't put anyone in Congress that is going to vote against your values, that's going to vote against your principles, that's going to put little girls and women in danger. We cannot do that, and really going to put everybody else and Christians in danger as well. Because what happened with the Values Act is it's going to be detrimental. And like I said, unfortunately, you're going to see more of that. What happened in Loudoun County with the little girls, and I hope those little girls won't be psychologically marked for life because of a bill that was passed, through the governor's office in the state assembly, and that we had Republicans vote for it. And she wasn't the only Republican, she just happened to be the Republican that I'm running against. But you know, and yeah, she's not finishing one term. She finished one term. I guess she'll end up finishing one term, but her term wasn't up before she decided to run. But that's fine. She feels like that she want to move on. But but what we want to do, when I beat her in 2022, we want to make sure that she lose that seat in 2023, because, like I say, she'll just be at the state level as well. So, and I appreciate you, Crystal. Thank you very much. Appreciate everybody came in, Vic and everybody, and Jonathan, and let me go back, and John and Rose and Stephen and Jamie and Henry and Rebecca and Shannon. Thank you all for coming in. I really appreciate it. George, thank y'all for coming in. And thanks for asking your questions. Like I said, I'm here every week. Come in and ask questions, spread the word. If people want real answers and people want to get to know me, want to know what I stand for and what I vote for, and if I'm the candidate for them, then have them come on in and let's do this again next week. And like I say, I send a challenge out to all of my opponents. Do this. Have an open town hall without any screeners. Put it up, to where people can ask their questions and everyone can see what questions that they're asking. So, you can show them, we don't have to have a debate or anything like that. Just come out and talk to the people. Okay, just do it. And so I do it, and I challenge all of my other opponents to do it as well. So people can get to know you and they get to ask you questions and don't feel pressured. And you don't have 3 minutes for an answer. You don't show up to an event and have 3 minutes to tell people who you are or 5 minutes to speak. Okay, people know who you are. They come and ask questions. So take the challenge. I'll be here. Hey, Nick, you're late. Got to go. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I know some people come on and just watch and don't ask questions, and I understand that, and that's fine. You just want to come on and see what I say and what I do. And I mean, I'm just me, but I guarantee you, I will not be on the fence. I will not be on the fence ever. I will be on one side of the fence or the other. And you can agree with me or not agree with me. Hey, but people up on the Eastern Shore, got something special. Got something special coming up there. Maybe next week. Might be next 10 days or so. But I'm working on something. I'm going to bring something special up to the Eastern Shore. So, and hopefully you all like it. Hey, but thank y'all very much. You guys enjoy your evening. Enjoy the rest of the week. We'll be back next week with Chat with the Candidate, Jarome Bell for America. Take it easy. See you later.